the Smashing Pumpkins on October 13th. Tickets are on sale now. Get the complete details on all the upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
I think we're going to have to put out a bat signal maybe as soon as tomorrow for our old friend Michael Hurley, because it certainly appears things are ramping up again in Iran. Our attacks on them, they're attacking all over the Middle East at this point. I'm looking at a CBSNews.com story indicating via Jennifer Jacobs, nearly 100 U.S. service members have been injured in Iranian attacks on multiple bases in the Middle East this month. U.S. officials told me some suffered brain injuries. Most have already turned to duty, two of the officials said. Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell confirmed the numbers in a statement to CBS. While nearly 100 service members were deemed to have some degree of injury since July 7th. 96% have returned to duty. They are determined to get back in the fight. The vast majority of injuries experienced were minor concussions. Further updates will be posted on the Defense Casualty Analysis System. So it may be time to see where we are, where we're headed, and is there an end game? I mean, that's obviously always the question, and we've had so many stops and starts, I feel like, since this thing started, so we'll probably do so. Let me get to some texts. I mentioned a bunch of them are in, and then we've got a number of subjects to explore today beyond Johnny joining us at 5:30. Mike writes, just curious if you're going to talk about the latest WNBA controversy regarding the, quote, protected species comment. Think it's ridiculous, but would love to hear your opinion. I don't know about this one. Do you know anything about the protected species?
Yes, I think I do. It's the Toronto coach who used to be the New York Liberty coach when they beat us for the title. She went on a rant about Angel Reese, and in the rant said she's one of the protected species, basically. Okay. She was suspended for a game. She apologized.
Reese? What did she do?
No, the coach.
The coach, okay. For
the species part of it.
Gotcha.
And she went full pelt immediately on social media and otherwise, and I don't know this part verbatim, but basically saying that's common in Australian vernacular to just kind of to talk like that.
Well, is the point she was allegedly attempting to make was name players are protected?
I think
which we hear in the NBA all the time.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So she was suspended for a game.
Gotcha.
And so that's the
coach was?
Yes. For the comment.
Interesting.
That's the backstory.
Who made the decision on that suspension? Was it the WNBA commissioner or the NBA commissioner?
I think Adam Silver got involved. No, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I'm not sure.
Dave checking in from Des Moines. Recent soccer fan who thoroughly enjoyed the tournament. A little sad it's over. Especially want to thank the fan and yourself for helping us enjoy it. Your guests, well informed, provided interesting analysis, made the games fun to watch, if not mesmerizing. In honor of Spain's win, I'm currently making a traditional Spanish dish, pollo al ajillo, chicken with garlic, while listening to Bumper to Bumper and sipping a Spanish Rioja. That sounds very good to me.
That sounds excellent.
Dan, on the Vikings, the only position we feel good about is wide receiver. We should be asking if we have an active competition at every other position, as none of them should be viewed as a lock. Well, another example of where we need to have a covenant catch-up is who's the big, huge defensive lineman that we drafted in round one, who everybody says if he stays healthy...
The foot guy, Caleb Banks.
Might be the best player in history.
Yeah, we're going to have to make room in the Ring of Honor.
Exactly.
Caleb Banks is his name.
He's got issues in his feet. Problematic. That was always the question about whether it's worth the gamble.
Right. That's why he fell.
Round one. What I want to know is, do we know what kind of schedule he's on? In other words, when training camp starts, is he full as far as we know for right now? Is he a guy we're going to have to baby a little bit? That's one of the things that we need to covenant catch up on, don't you think? Because that's pretty important. He's a key guy. If you want to think Polydana, you go, they figured this guy's health out. His feet are fine. He's never going to look back again and have any issues. He's healthy. And he's going to come in and be a monster. Because the people who evaluate players basically say that. They say, if you can get health from this guy, he will be the heart of your defense for 10 years.
That's what they say.
And we certainly talked about the need for greater strength, bigness in where? The interior line, at the line of scrimmage defensively. That's the kind of physicality we tend to associate with, let's say, the Philadelphia Eagles, right? That's what always seems to be the strength of the Eagles. And that we've tended to be more finessey, it felt like, right? And this guy's power, if he can pull it off. So hopefully we'll probably bring Gessling back, I'm guessing, this Friday.
I mean, we could go with all the football guys this week if we want.
Maybe we even try to, now that Seifert's tried to insinuate himself into everything, maybe we get him back on tomorrow's program, because Tuesday is usually his day.
O'Connell said in minicamp, KOC, here's the quote, "We're already to a point where we want to have our eyes on the end of July. That's the hope," which is when training camp starts. So back then they were projecting and hopeful that he would be ready.
That's open-ended when you say hope, as opposed to he's on track. He will start, because I don't even remember. I needed to bone up on his surgery history, about when's the last, because he's had a couple. That's part of the issue. That was the red flag for some teams. Mm-hmm. They knew he was good, but they just didn't know if they could trust his body.
And his most recent foot injury was like combine related. Remember, it was the bad cleats.
That's right.
He broke his 4th metatarsal in his left foot.
That's not that far off. And he's what, 350, 360?
He's a big boy.
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
Huge is what he is. Dan, JG, this is from Kyle Isanti. How can they have us at the bottom of the division? Jordan Love hasn't proved himself or can stay healthy, and their wide receiver core is arguably none of them will be higher than a 3 or 4 on our depth chart. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think the Packers are bulletproof by any means. They have some of their own issues. That doesn't change the fact that we have ours.
Right.
I still believe.
Don't you think, though, that it is like last year to this year? Last year, I don't think there was a great – obviously, the Vikings bottomed out until they didn't. So, record-wise, you look, between first and fourth, there was like a 2-3 game difference. You know what I mean? It seemed like there was a lot of parity within the division. Like, yes, I kind of feel like that this year, too. Like, I don't think there's a slam dunk rock bottom team, and I don't think there's a 14-3 team necessarily.
Well,
so all the predictions could have wiggle room, I guess, is my point, because I think a lot of the 4 teams could be interchangeable as we go.
Bonus bucks?
Sure. TheFan@BigDeck.com. Want to help with that? 4 o'clock keyword is check. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword check.
Bumper to bumper with Dan.
Closer to the action with KFAN, breaking sports news, exclusive contests, and more. Follow at KFAN1003 on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X to stay connected with the fan.
On sermons yesterday, a brief departure into the real world, only because I'd seen somewhere via X reporting, it appeared, on a mass shooting in Uptown. That term is used loosely, but it's defined with a given number. And I'm thinking, well, that's concerning. And so I went to my former newspaper, StarTribune.com, and there was literally not a word reported on it. So then I went to the Google, and I noticed that Fox 9 had a story on it, 5 had a story on it, CCO TV had a story on it. Almost, I think, pretty much every TV station. And again, it was basic stuff, but they at least reported it. Then, and eventually, by the way, there was a very pedestrian, not at all fleshed out news story, if you want to even call it that. Might have been 7 paragraphs. And then I come to find out there was another mass shooting the next afternoon or early evening. Go back to StarTribune.com. Nothing on it until maybe I might have seen something at 9 o'clock this morning, finally. Again, long after the TV stations had reported it. It's puzzling to me. I don't know if it's manpower. I have no idea, but it's a newspaper, man. You have to. And I said on Sunday, a newspaper that just won a Pulitzer for outstanding reporting and coverage on the ICE surge. But day to day, you can't have TV stations beat you. When I say beat them, I don't mean on TV. I mean in print. They all have at their website stories before you do. We have so much discussion about violence and gun violence and how important it is to report on this stuff ordinarily and even to opine on it. And I just kind of shake my head. That's supposed to be still, even in 2026, as far as I'm concerned, the lifeblood of what any newspaper is. Reporting the news. And I mentioned this to someone who'll remain nameless, that the sad truth of the slowness of the acknowledgement of these stories, you know what it does? It plays into the hands of the conspiracy theorists who think, that's because they want to bury it. They want to act like there is no such thing as any violence in Minneapolis. They're burying that on purpose, which I don't believe.
Right.
I honestly don't. I think it's lack of emphasis or manpower, whatever, but that's what you contribute to. Cover the news, man. And it is interesting because, let me, I guess, get a little background. I mean, the last I have is the second shooting. The first shooting in Uptown involved 9, I believe. The second one left one person dead and 4 others injured. This was Sunday night. The first mass shooting happened outside Rain Event Center about a little after midnight Sunday. The second apparently occurred in the 1800 block of Nicollet Avenue at about 8:20 p.m. Sunday. I'm actually here now quoting from Bring Me the News story. I think this might have even been written by Tiny Joe Nelson. Minneapolis Police Department says officers responded to the scene to find 4 victims, including 2 men ages 28 and 24, respectively, who are suffering from potentially life-threatening injuries, and 2 other men, 43 and 37, who sustained non-life-threatening injuries. And then they lay out that a 28-year-old victim died after being taken to Hennepin Health Care. Preliminary information, MPD, in a Monday morning press release, indicates that gunfire erupted outside a business in the 1800 block of Nicollet Avenue, injuring the 5 men. And the last I saw, no arrests have been made, although I haven't been on any of the sites now to see if there's anything new about that. Here's what's also interesting to me, and this is via, finally, a StarTribune.com story that has some reporting in it. Let me see if I can find the... this is from the mayor. Statement released. The shooting in Uptown last night is intolerable, and we will be working to hold the perpetrators accountable for this senseless act of violence. This is a stark reminder that keeping our streets safe requires every tool available. He goes on in the statement to say, we need partnerships where the perpetrators of these acts are arrested and prosecuted. We need to continue hiring more police officers to both investigate and prevent gun crimes, and we must embrace proven technologies from drones to ShotSpotter that allow our police to do their jobs with greater efficiency. That's where it gets back into the politics. And I don't know how consciously the mayor went down that road to make a point he wanted to make regarding the technologies, but you'll recall, as is noted at the Star Tribune piece, just last week, the city council deadlocked and failed to approve a 75-day pilot program using 2 more drones to help police in North Minneapolis. Now, they point out in this story that Minneapolis police have been using drones since 2022. City Council member Latricia Vital proposed to expand the drone program to her Northside ward, saying the drones could respond much quicker than the understaffed police force and give officers valuable information about what's happening on the ground, reduce response times, and free police for other calls. But the proposed free trial with Skydio, if I'm pronouncing that right, SKYDIO, prompted a wave of opposition because the company supplies drones to the U.S. Department of Defense and 29 allied nations, including Israel. Opponents warned that if the city partnered with the company, Skydio, it would be complicit. It would be complicit in the Israeli military's operations in Gaza. We're back to performing. You got a choice. And a lot of times the choice is being made to me on the basis of performance. Because if you do not have enough police officers, and we still don't, even though progress has been made in that regard, then you have to attempt, I think, to use technology. Now, presumably the technology used here would not be quite the same as what was used in Israel. And that's a discussion for another time, but in the end, who suffers when this technology is not used? Citizens. Sometimes citizens in harm's way. And as long as that's the game, as long as you want to get yourself involved in foreign policy issues or what companies are involved with whatever technology, or I should say with this company, different technology, then you're probably going to find yourself continually frustrated in that sense. You're allowed, I think, to decry certain policies and still believe that for the purposes of what you need to get accomplished here locally, we need to do what we need to do. Now, is this the only company that has this technology? I don't have any idea. But again, the irony is, according to this story, drones are being used already. It's not like there's no use of them. It's a matter of attempting to expand them. And we're, I think, learning again that imagery and getting involved in foreign policy issues dictates for some people the direction they want to go more than what's going on the ground here. What do we have available to us to better deal with these issues? But that goes back to having, I think, strong leaders who can deal with the kind of criticism that you might get, or having the ability to articulate the difference between what this technology would do here and where it might be used elsewhere. So, in any case, it didn't sound like a very good weekend. It sounds like rain, that location, the Star Tribune analysis of about 270 Minneapolis 911 calls to the club's address since 2021 shows incidents tripled from about 30 in 2024 to more than 100 in 2025. Those calls most commonly involved drug use, suspicious persons, fights, medical needs, and various other disturbances, too. So there you have it. There's the latest. And I don't know, do you see anything about arrests in either of these cases?
I do not know, but I haven't been tracking it quite as closely, but I just scanning those stories that you were talking about. I haven't seen those either.
Quick pause, bottom of the hour break. We will get to some texts as promised. Top 5 at 5 yet to come. Johnny Athletic. Will he break anything new on LeBron? Does he feel humiliated by the possibility that Anthony Edwards beat him to the story, at least as it pertains to LeBron James coming here? Or will Johnny say, not so sure that Anthony's got the full story on that? We'll find out in about an hour.
This is Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on The Fan.
Myself, I actually do think the Star Tribune had excellent the Metro Surge coverage. I think it's been throughout, tenacious, aggressive, and they've done over a period of time when it was at its zenith here. I thought the reporting was very, very good on that story. But the Pulitzer obviously goes further back. You don't win Pulitzers that quick. That goes back to the coverage of the Annunciation shootings last August. That's the Pulitzer one for by the Star Tribune. So we correct the record there. Lots of text coming into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Dan, the Red Star didn't report on the weekend shootings. Where are we? East Germany. Well, there's a lot of those, and like I said, that's what contributes to. I've quoted from a piece today that has good reporting in it, but the idea that when you Google that sort of story, there was not even a headline on it as long as that took is alarming to me. If I'm still involved with the newspaper, it's like, man, I would think no matter what else you're cutting back or whatever else you're doing, I just think that's supposed to be something covering hard news, breaking news, spot news like that. That I thought was supposed to be kind of non-negotiable.
Well, they're all listening to the same scanners, right?
Well, yeah.
You would imagine.
Are they? But that's the question. Yeah. Are they still listening to the scanner there? I don't even know.
I would imagine so. And when I say scan, I mean they've all got the same methods, essentially, to find out what's happening in terms of safety and following what the police are up to know where they're going.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Let me get to a couple of others here. Red Star, a lot of Red Stars. This goes back to the Angel Reese, the comment by the former Liberty coach.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't directed at Reese, it was directed towards the officials, meaning they were making poor calls. A protective species is common in Australian slang, is always meant to call it the referees, has nothing to do with race, gender, sexual preference. The coach getting suspended is a joke, just like this league. So was I guess I should go and try to find the news stories on it. Did in deciding that she was suspended, or he, is it he or she?
No, it's a she.
That's a she in this case. Yep. Former coach, yeah. Were the reasons given?
An inappropriate comment.
Okay, it just left at that.
Yes,
inappropriate comment. Okay,
was the main reason, or what it said in the statement.
Dan, you touched on this yesterday during sermons. Thoughts on the shootings, coverage on them over the weekend. Okay, this was sent in earlier before I did talk about that. Mass Stampede Scramble event at North Loop Green yesterday during World Cup watch party. I don't know anything about that, or if indeed that's been covered, but we have tried to cover a little bit on the downtown. The two shootings. One was uptown. I think the first of the two was indeed uptown. Former Hibbing guy, now living in Phoenix. I've been in Estepona, Spain for the entire World Cup. Never seen anything as crazy as a victory celebration after last night's Spain win. Estepona is a tourist town in the Mediterranean, but I found a place frequented mainly by locals, which brought an entirely new, he must have dictated this. I'm not following. It's not only the adults celebrating, but entire families. To see their joy is something I'll remember the rest of my life. Well, the crowds, yeah, there were a couple shots of Madrid, a couple town squares in Madrid where it was endless. I mean, there was people pretty much in every direction. 952 guy, who's a better defender, Messi or late season Julius Randle? Wow.
Oh, wow.
Whew.
He's in Brooklyn now. Come on, we've moved on.
Man, that's
up high, down hard, though. I need Kevin Harlan for that one.
Well,
high, down hard.
It was an education for me, even by Messi standards, to see him a couple times, literally where
I know
there's stuff going on around him, and he's literally just standing.
It's like he could have gotten that ball.
He could have gone a little closer.
Yeah.
And he just I'm not. They allow me to not play defense.
Yeah, he's messy.
But Jamie made a good point there. If you're already down a player, then you are down two. defensively to that extent.
Or can't you say to him, because taking him out is impossible.
That would be sacrilegious.
But can't you say to him, Messi, Mr. Messi, we got like 30 minutes left.
Yeah, this is it.
And you might be done after this.
And we don't want you to have to cry after the match.
We need you to leave it all out there this time.
There wasn't.
Not every time, maybe, but if you think you could do it, like maybe just a little bit more.
No, it did look.
We're almost done.
It looked exhibition-y. It really did. Jamie
Randall did it the first couple possessions of decisive game 6, where he just stood there and let the Spurs dunk and get an and one, and you kind of knew which way the night was going to go.
So, in effect, we were playing 4 defensive guys against 5.
Yeah, felt worse somehow.
Jamie is absolutely brilliant. The Minnesota Twins are resilient. LaMelo needs to get his tattoo fulfillment. Wolves in 5. What confused me was he wrote LaVello. So I'm thinking, well, does he mean Lavelli Neal III?
Well, that's what we're going to call him when he gets his tattoos. So he did mean Lavelle.
Maybe he did mean it.
Yeah, we established that in another controversial Lavelli Neal III appearance on Friday, that when he gets his tattoos, we're going to call him Lavello.
Yeah, he meant Lavello, and I just misread it twice now.
He remembers the show better than us.
Yeah, that's nothing new there. That happens all the time.
Lavello Neal III.
Well, so I'm still getting texts about the Angel thing. So is in the popular culture, is the notion that what this coach said was racist as it pertains to special treatment for the black player Angel Reese? Is that the allegation?
Yes, and that's what she apologized for.
Yeah.
Basically saying, because she's from Australia, and basically saying it's common phrase where I'm from, and then in her statement or whatever, basically, I know that, this is my editorial comment.
Okay.
Unfortunately for me, I live in a racist country now, and so when you say something like that, in Australia, that's commonplace. We say that all the time. Here, I understand it might have a little bit different meaning or connotation, or be taken a different way.
Again, silly me, but couldn't the connotation be what it often is in sports? The coach saying certain players, as in because they're well known, not because they're black or white, get preferential treatment. I know that's a radical concept.
You're right.
I know that's beyond us, because nuance is completely out the window. But in this case, it doesn't sound like it took the WNBA quite as long as it took to suspend a player for cheap shotting Caitlin Clark, huh?
No, they got to it a little quicker. Maybe they learned from the last time that they've got to take action.
Yes. I'm sure that's what it is. Can we go all the way to the top?
We can.
Or no, do we need a break? I'm just trying to remember. Did I thought I broke at the bottom, didn't I?
Yes, you did. We can go all the way to the top.
50. Okay.
Yep.
That's good enough. All right, here's one. This might be up your alley. I think we've talked about this before. I'm saving a really juicy one for tomorrow when we have a little bit more time. But this did interest me a little bit. Another attempt, it appears, to energize the world's first indoor shopping mall. Did you see the story the Star Tribune had the other day on this?
I did. I had not read it yet, but I'm familiar with it.
Rachel
so go ahead.
Hutton and Carson Hartzog wrote it. An old idea is new and extra fancy at Southdale Center, the shopping mall that started it all. This spring's opening of Tiffany & Company marked the completion of Southdale's gleaming new luxury wing.
Yeah.
On a recent weekday, there was little foot traffic to scuff up the white marble floors. Unlike the Edina Center's opening day 70 years ago, that fall, 75,000 people came to see the country's first fully enclosed, climate-controlled shopping mall. So, apparently, since 2012, the Southdale owner, that's the Simon Property Group, the country's largest mall owner, isn't that an Indianapolis guy? Indiana guy? I thought they were Indiana guys. The Simons. Weren't they involved in team ownership? Anyway.
I'll look it up.
Has spent about $400 million to reboot the center that in the past decade or so has underperformed. Out went casual chain eateries Buffalo Wild Wings and P.F. Chang's. In came upscale merchandise of a tier and abundance not previously seen in Minnesota between Rolex watches, Burberry plaid bikinis, Max Mara camel hair coats, and Gucci purses. So it's a big swing, and the strategy fascinates me because basically I think Southdale stole many of those luxury stores from the Galleria.
I was going to say, they moved a few blocks north.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I, for the life of me, question whether this is going to be the home run that they project it to be. Now, I don't know what the early indications are. We'll continue to take a look at what's offered in this story. But is that enough? I mean, lots of malls are all over the country, I don't think, are as healthy as they used to be. Mall of America, I think, seems to be one of the exceptions.
It is, right? Yeah. Yep.
But
that place.
Is this the kind of thing that's going to... There's a Kowalski's in the new Southdale as well.
There's a Lifetime.
It's a tremendous Kowalski's. It's massive. It's one of the biggest Kowalski's I've ever seen.
There's an incredible Lifetime there.
So does this have a chance to go? I don't know. 64686 is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Because, again, I haven't done any research on it, but my gut, I am a Galleria guy. I do like the Galleria, although those stores I really don't spend a lot of time at. They were at one end, and I didn't really go to that end very often. There were some other stores that I liked, including I'm a big Barnes & Noble guy, as you know. But I saw that, it was happening while it was happening, and I'm sure they must have given financial incentive. In fact, I know at least one of those stores is much bigger because it's a bigger space than they had at Galleria.
For sure.
So maybe that gives them a chance to succeed. But the larger question, is all of that enough to start a revolution and bring back the glory days for Southdale? That's my question. I'm skeptical.
No, but because that stuff is so big ticket, you don't need the glory days. You just need enough of the beautiful people. You need enough of the beautiful people to go there. And they've got a couple new restaurants in there. Yeah. I have not been there. The only time I go to Lifetime to Southdale is for the Lifetime at this point in my life. And it's a phenomenal Lifetime. They've got a pool deck up top.
Yeah, I have seen it. I've never been in it.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. And now now what's new in malls too, which I love, and you take advantage of this, the fact that because fewer people go to the malls, that means they need fewer parking spots. What do? They just throw down a Shake Shack.
Yeah.
In a corner where there used to be parking, and then that's another way to use the spot. They're doing that in a couple of different corners. There's a hotel now where a parking lot used to be. So they're trying a bunch of different things.
To remain relevant in a disrupted sector that has sent many Minnesota malls, including Burnsville and Maplewood, into bankruptcy and foreclosure, Southdale is returning to its past. The Mall 2.0 brings back the mixed-use, community-oriented elements. It's... the words are unfortunately...
It's a lot of romance about a shopping center, too.
Simon's betting big that the rebooted Southdale will entice people of all ages and all walks of life for a wide variety of reasons. Foot traffic data gathered this spring shows the investment seems to be paying off with a nearly 30% increase compared to 2019. Shopping centers have to be a fabric of the community, said Tom Hanchar, Simon's VP of leasing. Doesn't that seem a little highfalutin? A fabric of the community? I don't know.
That's what I said. It's a little flowery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes shopping will be part of it, sometimes not. I don't know. I'd be curious to get any opinions via the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line 64686. They kind of lay out the history of Southdale over the decades. In the Mallrats era of the 90s, Southdale was where teenagers got their ears pierced, inhaled Cinnabons, and flirted.
Man, I did all three of those at a mall.
While the Edina Mall didn't have the international draw of Bloomington's behemoth, the Mall of America, it brimmed with cultural significance as the subject of SAT questions and the place where esteemed musicians launched careers. Man, boy. So now
you should have spent more time there instead of the Galleria.
Apple, Sephora, overall space feels a bit schizophrenic. Luxury wing, sales staffers joke about whose shop pours the best bubbly. Meanwhile, the small, dark lower level with a chess club, dance studio, and escape room could be the setting of an indie horror flick. Southdale's 1 million square feet contain pickleball courts, a movie theater. Does anybody go to the movies even there or any place anymore?
I think people are coming back. I just read a story over the weekend that the younger kids, because it's different, to them it's different now. So it's a unique experience to actually go to a theater.
More than MOA, Southdale competes with its next-door neighbor, Galleria, the upscale boutique mall that spawned from Gabbard's Furniture in the 1970s. I think, is Gabbard still in there? I've maintained, when Gabbard's was in its old place, I think it's either gone or moved, or maybe it remodeled. I submit to you that it was the one furniture store. Here's what I would equate going to that Gabbard's for me was like. Talking to David Kahn. There was so much inventory and so many levels and so much space, it was overwhelming. You didn't even know where to look, where to turn, because there was too much inventory. And it's like talking to David Kahn. You reach a point where you're just exhausted by the entire experience. I don't know if it's still there or not. Southdale's 20-plus-year-old cheesecake factory is preparing for an update. A steak and seafood concept called Smithson, from the owners of Six Smith, I'm sorry, is coming this fall. I know that place is with it in a while.
That's Bougie.
Very much so.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the early analytics are good. About a decade ago, Bahram Akradi, CEO and founder of Lifetime, was tipped off to an opportunity in struggling malls. To your point, with so many department stores closing, a banker friend suggested Lifetime could snap up a large plot of prime real estate.
Yeah.
He balked. Southdale had some of the highest vacancy rates among the Twin Cities regional malls. Didn't have the stature or ambiance to match Lifetime's positioning as an athletic country club. But Akradi liked Edina's demographics. Today's median annual household income is more than $125,000. So apparently he did contact David Simon, who was then the Simon's chief executive, who died this spring.
And they are the Pacers owners.
They are the okay. Yep. That's what I thought. With a proposal to take over one of Southdale's empty anchor spaces, which you say now they've now done.
Yeah, and they've done that around the country at different malls. They're killing it.
I guess what is interesting, and maybe this is the future. Because when I looked at it originally, it's like, God, wait a minute, I'm all confused. You got these high-end stores, you got some other stores, you've got a Lifetime, you've got a Kowalski's. Well, what is it? But maybe that's the point. Maybe looking at malls, that old way of malls are where stores are, and where some restaurants are. Maybe they'll start a revolution with this thing. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore.
Because part of it I look at as like, when you go to a grocery store, do you want to mess with parking at a mall? You know what I'm saying? Is you feel like, I mean, any place you go, any big market, big grocery store, you're going to have to, there might be some parking issues, but there's a parking lot for that. It's like, well, now I got to mess with going through mall traffic to get to.
But it's not the normal mall traffic.
No, it's not.
Like you say, it's not Mall of America traffic where everybody's going there for the shopping, the eating, the rides, the movies, the entertainment, whatever it is. They're going there to work out. That parking lot's always full. But the rest of it, there's not the sheer number of stores that there used to be.
Yeah.
And there's just fewer. Like, you're going there for a very specific reason usually. So I bet the grocery store thing is not a big impediment. I even think about Arbor Lakes, where Portillo's is, and every other restaurant you could possibly want. Like, they have 2 or 3 grocery stores out there. And
they do.
It's sometimes difficult to get around, but people are doing it.
I will admit, I've never understood Arbor Lakes. I
think it's too much.
And I'm still not sure there's much there, but there is a lot of stuff. And like you said, there's a Trader Joe's, I know.
It's always busy. Yeah.
Which is always busy, which is fine. But in terms of the actual, clothing stores, whatever the case may be, I don't know. It just hasn't.
I don't think you can get to every. But I think part of that reason is you don't know what's in Arbor Lakes because you only go to get your contact lenses.
That's true.
Or Portillo's.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the most walkable place of all time. Like, that's how you discover stores.
Yeah,
right? That's how you discover what else is there. You park, and then you can get around and you can go.
Hey, I didn't know they had one of these here.
Everything seems so separated and segregated
it's
out there.
Spread out, too, right? It's the nature of the kind of,
It is.
That's part of the deal, too. 763 guy, I agree with the fabric. This is Steve Andover. I agree with the fabric comment. Northtown Mall and Blaine. Hold on. Now they're coming in fast and furious. Oh, my God. Here it is. Northtown Mall and Blaine just opened their Asian section of the mall with groceries and restaurants, and it is serving our area quite well. The common folk need not worry. Southdale is staying strong with their DMV location, the upscale entertainment / eatery venue, Dave and Buster's.
That's pricey, too. I avoid that as much as I can.
Parking is a breeze at Kowalski's in Southdale. Well, actually, I have parked there to go to Kowalski's from time to time. It is, I guess it is. Part of my issue there is they've got a very odd series of arrows about which direction you go, and you suddenly find yourself you're heading the wrong way.
Yep. I've never gotten out of the Southdale parking lot quickly, even when I was a kid.
That's Dan, one of the locker room guys at that Lifetime of Southdale told me it's the busiest one now in the
I believe it.
Twin Cities.
I believe it.
There's another Northtown Mall, pat on the back, had become almost a ghost town. They put in what they call Asian Village, large Asian food court and Asian grocery store. Lots of people in the know go to movies at Old School Riverview Theater in South Minneapolis. Okay. No shout out to Luigi's Restaurant by Southdale. Well, I wasn't like ignoring him. I mean, that's
down the block.
It's not quite that close.
That's way down France.
Yeah, it's okay, but
he's doing fine without us.
It's a great restaurant. Yeah, but that's really not related.
I did like P.F. Chang's though there.
My father-in-law was the person responsible for building the last rebuild of Southdale and Rosedale. He's retired now. The mall has to focus on the top 10% of the American population as they are the ones with the purchasing power. That's why they attached to Lifetime.
That all makes sense. Like Lifetime. I said, they need fewer people, but they need people that have a lot of money that can spend.
Dan, do you think Ant may have been talking tongue-in-cheek about the Wolves' chance of landing LeBron? That's what we're going to ask Johnny at the bottom of the hour, because you could make the argument that he was playing. But then Anthony tends to have no filter. So there's a part of me that believes that he saw the list. And does that mean LeBron has a written list? Like, here, hey, Ant, you want to see my updated list?
Guessing not.
It's LeBron.
I mean, his agent had the whiteboard. He showed us the whiteboard.
You can't rule that out.
I don't know if LeBron has his own travel pack with it.
Just took my daughter to Rosedale for her 14th birthday. Love how clean the mall is, and they have a lot of shopping options and eating options. I actually enjoy it more than Mall of America.
Rosedale's nice.
Sol and Blaine.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while, but they have a solid mall. Very solid.
I think the idea for Southdale is to be centered around Lifetime. I heard Lifetime wanted to build condos. They have the gym and Lifetime work already. Live, work, and play.
Yep.
All in one spot. So, but here's my question. Those luxury, literally the highest end stores that got stolen from Galleria? Is that at the top of the list of what's bringing people over, or is it actually all the other stuff? You know what I'm saying? I have a hard time believing that even the upper crust shop enough at those really expensive stores to sustain enough foot traffic if the idea is we're going to get more people in the mall. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive about how much money is spent at those places.
I think they're there. I think they're there enough. And you see it like you go to Vegas or you go to any like ritzy mall spot. Yeah. Even at MOA, the stores, the high-end stores are not typically full, right? It's not like you go into Old Navy where we go and it's packed and you're running around trying to find your kids because the deals are so good and you can buy whatever you want for $50. Then you walk by those stores, the nice ones that have, the really nice purses, jewelry, whatever. Yeah. There's nobody there. You never see anybody there. Very rarely, right? But the stores are still there, so that tells you that they're getting enough people. They're getting enough people to pay the rent and make the money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah, you might be right.
So you just don't need that many. When maybe the prices are that high,
but maybe it's the synergy of it's that and Kowalski's and Lifetime, and then there's the
Putt Shack.
Your
go play some golf
stores, if you want those too. All right, top of the hour break, top five.
I love a good mall, by the way. I think you and I are in alignment on that.
That's true.
I love the mall.
Sad but true. Although I've lost my touch with that mall. I'm forever. When I lived closer to it, I was at that. That was the mall, the only one I really went to, quite frankly. And then I thought, then the few times I was in, I was like, there doesn't seem to be anything left here. What's going on? I didn't think there was enough there to bring me. And now, obviously, that maybe they know that perception was out there, and they're trying to do something about it.
I miss both the Gallery and Southdale from 30 years ago.
There you go.
Back when I was living the dream. Top 5, you want that?
Yes.
We're going to do kind of a weekend wrap. We might give you a little LeBron. We'll give you a little Lynx. And Byron Buxton is back.
You're listening